Hello and a warm welcome. You've joined us on Your Trades right here on ET Now. I'm Ashesha Adhwaryu. With me is Mansi Dave. And this is a show where we take you through the market action for the trading day and prepare you for tomorrow's trading session. But as far as market is concerned, Mansi, what started off as a weak trading day, we did recover from the lowest point of the day. But despite that, ending the day with a downtick of nearly 90 odd points.
Absolutely, Ashesha. Quite an interesting session, I should say, because the Indian markets have set an example that no matter what happens, but the Indian markets have the potential to see upside, and that is what we did see today. Taking a look at the headlines for today, the news that made headlines today, Nifty did close below 24,800, but it was this session itself where we did see levels above 24,900 and above as well. So you have to give it to Nifty for that, but then there was volatility in the last half an hour of trade, and we did see the downtrends coming in, 24,768 to be precise. Trump did call India and Russia dead economies. Now, there were so many announcements and so many comments coming in from the Trump administration, Donald Trump on Truth Social, giving a lot of takeaways after the tariff announcement of 25%, the threat, the tactic, and after that again taking a U-turn, saying there is space for negotiations. So all of this is going to continue. But then, yes, 25% tariff announcement on India and penalty if we trade with Russia. That is something which we started with. There was a knee-jerk reaction in the market, and after that, the markets did try a recovery. Let's see a smart recovery. We witnessed real good levels, and after that, at the end, again, it was a volatile session. We have to remember it was a monthly expiry session as well. At the same time, talking about the stock-specific moves, it was Sun Pharma, one-time loss of 818 crore in Q1 did dent the sentiment for Sun Pharma. Apart from that, HUL, yes, now the counter, the FMCG pocket was really doing well. Irrespective of the tariff announcements, one such sector which was really not that concerned out of the tariff announcements, but HUL did perk up on strong volume growth in Q1. At the same time, Maruti Suzuki, the margins did slump in Q1. In the last hour of trade, the numbers came in, and after that, there was an impact over it as well. M&M amps up e-SUV play, Chakan expansion, ET Now exclusive on the back of that. M&M was another stock which was in focus radar. We kept an eye on the Brent crude, the copper, as well as Maregaon blast. Yes, after a longer wait, all 7 accused were acquitted, and that was the news flow coming in. So these are all the news that were making headlines today. But now let's take a look at what should be your strategy for the coming session. We have with us Nilesh Jain, Head Derivative and Technical Research Center Broking. Nilesh, good afternoon. Thank you so much for giving your time to ET Now. Yes, there was a news flow. Market did see a knee-jerk reaction, did see a smart recovery, and at the end, it was a volatile close. What's your view on the market next?
Very good afternoon to you, Mansi. Absolutely. So today we had monthly of an expiry for the Nifty and Bank Nifty. On the back of that, a lot of volatility was seen. At one point of time, Nifty was making an attempt to break 24,900 level decisively. But towards the closing hour, we have seen a sharp profit taking, due to which that the Nifty unable to sustain above that particular level and slipped below 24,800 marks. So looking at the overall setup, looks like we are likely to witness consolidation to continue in the range of 24,500 to 25,000, where 25,000 is acting as a steady wall and looks very unlikely to be taken off on immediate basis. Now, looking at the overall setup from a positional perspective, till the time Nifty doesn't break below 24,500, we can expect a sort of a range-bound session to continue from here. The volatility index, India VIX, which remains sideways, although today we have seen some bit of spike of 2.5%, but at 11.50, nothing much to worry on that front as of now. Now, coming to Bank Nifty, we did see some bit of profit taking in the Bank Nifty as well. But overall, on the closing basis, it managed to end near about 56,000 mark. So that is a make or break level from here. And if unable to sustain above the same, then we can expect further slide to continue towards 55,500 to 55,000 as well. But as of now, any pullback and a decisive breakout above 56,000 will attract a short covering rally from here. So it is important to watch out for tomorrow, where we'll be getting a weekly close as well, and the over data, the exact number will be getting. So on the back of that, it is important to see which side will it break both Nifty and Bank Nifty tomorrow.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on both Nifty and Bank Nifty. But Nilesh, the only sector which was spared from the kind of fall that we saw in the market was FMCG sector, and a whole host of companies. HUL, after it reported its numbers, was up 4.5%. We had Godrej Consumer Products, Dabur, all of them ending with some amount of gains. What will your thoughts be on the entire sector, and any stock-specific ideas from the FMCG index?
Absolutely, Asisha. So FMCG basket, in fact, today we have seen a good spurt in this particular space. After a spurt, it has ended exactly at its 200-day moving average, that is placed at 55,650. So it managed to end about the same. So looking at the overall setup, the FMCG space being a defensive in nature, looking at the market volatility, the focus is shifting toward defensive. So we can expect a follow-up move to continue in Nifty FMCG basket. And on the upside, as far as Nifty FMCG index is concerned, 56,500 to 57,000 kind of levels we are expecting. So within this space, we have a couple of buy recommendations. First of all, Dabur is looking strong on the chart, and we are expecting a follow-up move to continue towards 545 to 551 on immediate basis. With a stop loss below 520, Dabur can be added. And apart from that, United Spirit, again from a consumption space, this particular stock, after a lot of decline that we have seen in the recent time, today it has witnessed a spurt and a strong rebound from the lower level. So we can expect a follow-up move to continue towards 1380 to 1400 on the upside, with a stop loss below 1300. Again, United Spirit can be bought. And lastly, HUL, we have seen a very good close in HUL. It is on the verge of a multi-month, multi-year breakout, I would say, which is placed at 2550. So a breakout about 2550 will open upside towards 2600 to 2700, with a stop loss below 2460. HUL can also be added.
All right, Nilesh, thank you so much for your stock-specific recommendation as well as your view on the indices and market. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mansi.
Moving ahead, and let us now let you know what are the word coming in from the wise. Donald Trump's tariff tantrum continues as he announces 25% tariff on all India import just 2 days before the deadline ends and a day after calling India a dear friend. We caught up with a whole host of experts to decode what lies ahead for Indian markets. Listen in.
The 25%, and the market can quickly discount that. It'll have impact on specific companies. But for the broad benchmark, the composition of the benchmark, the sort of specific hit doesn't look that difficult to absorb. It's not a sort of direct hit on their earnings. We do need to sort of think a little bit more about capital flows to India. Does this indicate that the short-term Indian rupee weakness that we've seen will continue for a bit?
Ultimately, the rupee is starting to look oversold in our view. I mean, I'm not saying that we could potentially see a bit more near-term weakness. We could even see back to the February highs of dollar rupee around 88. But I think the technicals are starting to look overbought on dollar rupee. I think the valuations now are quite cheap on the currency, both in rear and near terms. We may be seeing a little bit of importer dollar hedging coming through, which is adding to pressure on dollar rupee. But on the other side, I would expect the RBI to cap any sharp slide in the currencies.
I think the sides will ultimately end up with a deal. I'm optimistic on that front. And I think there'll be a deal there where both sides are able to say, hey, there are a number of wins that we were able to achieve and our friends in India were able to achieve, and vice versa. I think that the 25%, again, it's just an initial going in number.
In May, we had a significant market impact as well when China reduced their access and exports to the US for rare earth materials. So all of those is impactful only if there is a market significance for the US. I don't think that with respect to negotiations with India, we might have as dramatic a market impact on US markets, be it equities or fixed income, which then means that the likelihood of a taco trade with respect to an India negotiation is far, far lower.
And let's now put the spotlight on one stock that was clearly on fire today after reporting a slight beat in the first quarter of FY26 and strong performance in the personal care business. Management says growth will be volume-led and they expect sustained gradual recovery going forward. Let's go across and listen into what the management had to say.
The growth is price driven because there's been a lot of inflation, so we had to price up. That means the grammage goes down on the average usage. There is some impact on volume in the near term, but on the whole, we believe, and our margins are also up. So on the whole, the P&L is looking quite robust, and we will stay on this path of effectively taking our portfolio more and more towards the premium end, more liquids, more premium, which is the nature of the game in personal care.
You spoke about price hikes and grammage, reductions. Now that we're seeing a little bit of a cool off in commodity costs, are there going to be any revisions in terms of pricing or grammage on either side?
We have started passing on already in tea prices. So sequentially, even June quarter, we had reduced prices in many pack prices. And which is why I had mentioned earlier the price versus cost gap in this quarter, because we have in the price to replacement and not price to consumption. Second, for skin cleansing, this is an area we had seen material inflation coming in, and hence there has been price increase which has got taken, including in the current quarter. But going forward, as we see now that inflation for palm and palm derivative has now stalled where it was, and there's some coming off recently. We don't expect further change to happen in skin cleansing. But year on year, there is inflation, and hence year on year there is price. Coming to laundry, it's other way around. We have seen crude oil overall and crude oil basket for last year or year and a half in a deflation scenario, and hence we have passed on the benefit to a consumer. No change by and large in this quarter. Whatever change you see in terms of negative price in this quarter is coming from the decisions we took because of passing on the benefit of deflation to consumers, and also the price change that we did reacting to competition.
So that was HUL management post the quarterly earnings talking to ET Now. Moving ahead, it is a steady drive for auto major Maruti Suzuki after its Q1 earnings. The company saw sharp contraction in margins while the revenue and profit did beat estimates. Shrishti joins in with all the number crunching. Shrishti.
Well, yes, it's been a steady set for Maruti Suzuki. The numbers were almost in line to what we were penciling in, while there has been a bit of a surprise on the profit figure, but all thanks to the higher other income. When it comes to the internals of the Maruti Suzuki, then we have seen the margins to be held steady at close to 10.3%, bang on in line to what we were expecting at ET Now. While in terms of the revenue, there we have seen a bit of a slight beat versus our estimate coming in, as the company clocks a top line of 38,414 odd crores. Now in terms of the bottom line, 3,711 crores is what the company has registered. That's indeed above what we were expecting at ET Now as well. But the other income has almost doubled on a YY basis, maybe one of the factors that helped the company delivering such sort of a set. In terms of the marginal performance, the company did say that time around, on the back of the higher raw material costs, the margins were actually kept in check, and along with that, the higher promotional cost as well as the new plant related expenses, these are the factors that weighed heavy on the margins as well. But all in all, a decent set by Maruti Suzuki.
Said by Maruti Suzuki, but Shrishti, stay on with us. Sun Pharma also reported its numbers. How were they?
Sun Pharma as well, a decent set coming in by the company, because this time around the expectations were that that on a quarter-on-quarter basis there should be a bit of a uptick on terms of the margins, and the company managed to deliver that. 29% is what they have delivered on the margin figure, in line to what we were expecting in. But along with that, if we look at the profit figure, that's actually impacted by an exceptional loss of over 800 crores, and the profit is actually less in terms of the reported profit versus our estimate. But if we adjust this number while adding back the kind of loss that the company has reported as an exception, the profit figure is also in line. In terms of the highlights, the India formulation sales has seen a jump of 14%, a little better than what the street was penciling in. The US sales has been clocked at $473 million, while the specialty sales, which is now being renamed as Global Innovative Medicine Sales, that has seen a surge of almost 17%, and that now contributes to around 19.3% in their overall sales. So all in all, a decent set coming in from Sun Pharma as well. Back to you.
Absolutely. Shrishti, thank you so much for all of those details. Moving ahead, let's now understand what were the stocks and news during this session on the exchanges. Ravinder joins it with all the details. Ravinder, what were the stocks doing rounds on the exchanges?
Well, as DCB Bank is in focus on back of the quarterly earning, where company reported a NII at rupees 580 crore as compared to 497 crore, which was up by approx 17% year-on-year basis. And if we talk about interest income, then interest income also saw an uptick of more than 21% year-on-year basis. But asset quality declines and provision was up by 71.3% at quarter-on-quarter basis. So back of this, DCB Bank is in focus. Apart from this, Imami is also in focus in today's trading session, where company reported a revenue at 904 crore as compared to 906 crore, which was flat on year-on-year basis. And if we talk about EBITDA, then EBITDA also was flat on year-on-year basis at 47 crore, and company's net profit saw an uptick of 7.5% year-on-year basis. So back of this quarterly earning, Imami is also in focus. Moving to next, Geo Financial Services is also in focus in today's trading session, where board has approved fundraise up to rupees 15,825 crore via share warrants, and company to raise fund from Sikka Ports and Terminal Limited and Jamnagar Utilities and Power Limited via share warrant. And lastly, Dabur India is also in focus on the back of the quarterly earning, where company revenue saw an uptick of more than 1.5% year-on-year basis at rupees 3,405 crore. And if we talk about net profit, the net profit also saw an uptick of 3% year-on-year basis. So overall, on the back of this quarterly earning, Dabur India is also in focus.
Several stocks that were in focus today based on news flow and earnings. Ravinder, thanks so much for filling us in with all those details. But shifting focus back to the auto sector then, and in a deal that is poised to reshape the global commercial vehicle industry, Tata Motors has now announced its plan to acquire Italy's Iveco Group for 3.8 billion euros in an all-cash transaction, creating a formidable global player with vast reach, complementary capabilities and a unified strategic vision. Shrishti is again joining us with more details on this.
Well, yes, that's a big deal that has been announced by Tata Motors, where for the Tata Group as well, this is the second biggest deal that they have announced, and they have gone ahead and announced their acquisition plans of Italian commercial vehicle player, that is Iveco Group, wherein Tata Motors will actually buy Iveco Group, excluding their defense business, for 3.8 billion euros, and this deal is implying an EV by EBITDA FY26 valuation of 4 times, and this transaction is going to be an all-cash one, and the acquisition via voluntary public cash tender offer of all outstanding equity will actually take place. Now, if we look at some of the internals then, and what could really be in store for Tata Motors, like we have been flagging off, that this will definitely help them expand their international presence. 74% of the revenue is what Iveco Group gets only from the European markets as well, and the proposed offer would bring in the two businesses sales worth 5.4 lakh plus units per year, and the combined revenue could be over that mark of 2.2 lakhs as well, where the Europe will actually contribute 50%, India will contribute 35%, and the other regions could actually contribute 15%. Brokerages have also come out with their take on this one, and Nuvama has come out with a take where they're saying that the acquisition shall provide the companies access to a better technology. They estimate this acquisition to be EPS accretive with a consolidated EPS accretion of 4% right now, and implying this valuation, the upside to the fair value could be of around 2%. So there have been liking this particular deal, and post the market open, we have also seen a bit of a rebound in the stock price as well.
Deal coming in for the auto sector, and Tata Motors was in focus on the back of that. But apart from that, which are the other cues and events that you should keep an eye out on and trade tomorrow? Snehi is now joining us to fill us in with that. Snehi.
Well, absolutely. It's the first of the month, which means back home it's the auto sales data day. So the auto sales for the month gone by are going to be out tomorrow for the month of July. So watch out for that. Other than that, HSBC manufacturing PMI numbers are going to be out. And this manufacturing PMI number is not only for us, globally also from the US, UK, Eurozone, China and Japan. All major economies of the world are going to be reporting their versions of the manufacturing PMI numbers, so watch out for that. Other than that, from the US you have ISM manufacturing numbers as well. From UK you have trade data. From Eurozone you have the very important inflation metric CPI numbers that will be coming out. And from Japan, other than the PMI numbers, of course, you have the unemployment data as well. In terms of global earnings, all eyes are going to be on Exxon and Chevron, two auto and auto anchor companies. But shifting focus back home, if you talk about the earnings to watch out for tomorrow on the Nifty front, you have ITC numbers that will be out. But other than that, even from the broader end of the market, a whole host of stocks like GSK Pharma, Godrej Properties, MCX, Tata Power, Capri Global, Adani Power, LIC Housing, Glenmark Life Delivery. All of them are going to be in focus on the back of their earnings. Other than that, in terms of corporate action and board meetings, watch out for Adani Power and MCX. Both boards are going to be mulling stock splits, so watch out for all of these counters.
Absolutely, Snehi. Thank you so much for all of those cues. Many triggers on the back of earnings, global, domestic, as well as news flows to be expected for the next session. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Your Trades, but there are news and updates lined up on the other side. So you stay tuned with ET Now. Thank you.